What's up guys? Over the years I've played thousands of hours worth of MMOs, but one thing that I don't think I've ever done in a single MMO I've played is follow along with the story or learn the lore. Well, with Lost Ark coming to NA, I wanted to do things a little bit different. So I created a character on the Russian servers, then proceeded on a 50-hour journey watching all cutscenes and reading every bit of available text I possibly could. There were a lot of highs and quite a few lows, but the journey was great nonetheless, and I want to share my experience with those who have lingering questions or just decided to skip the story altogether. But before I do that, please take a second to hit the like button to help this video out, and also consider subscribing to my channel for more weekly content. Additionally, please note that the names I use are based off of an open source translation that was translated from Korean, then to Russian, then to English, so take pronunciations with a grain of salt. With that being said, Lost Ark's entire story is summarized. Let's get into it. You start in a strange place known as Tricyon. Before you stands an angel who says your appearance is foreseen in the Book of Prophecy. She tells you her name is Beatrice and that the demons are back and terrorizing the human world of Acrosia, and only one power can stop them, which is the Ark of Primordial Light. Beatrice tasks you with finding the Ark and says you should start by searching for those who remember its light. You set sail on a voyage to find the Ark. You meet a priest named Morte who believes that it is hidden somewhere on the island of Troy. On the island, you find a mysterious hidden temple that reveals itself to you, and in the dungeons of the temple you discover not the Ark, but a magic scroll that shows you a prophecy, that you are the chosen one that has come to vanquish the evil that has arisen. You are the Seeker. You leave the temple and say farewell to the priests and head off to a nearby city of Leonhardt. As you walk away, the player sees the priest was not actually a priest but an evil figure that was in disguise. On your way to Leonhardt, you meet another priest named Amon. Together you head to Leonhardt to meet High Priest Beirut. Immediately Beirut can tell you are the Seeker. He tasks you with finding the missing piece of the slab in the cathedral, as it will provide more information on finding the Ark. During your search for the missing slab piece, you discover that long ago the divine world and the demon world were at war. The Ark's power was entrusted to 7 heroes known as the Guardians. The Guardians used the Ark to imprison the supreme demon Kazaros under a volcano. Eventually you find the missing piece to the slab. However, the dark mysterious figure that was masquerading as Priest Morte takes it and starts laying siege to Leonhardt with his army of demons. You slay the demons and make your way to the cathedral, where you find the evil figure has killed all of the priests except for Beirut. You confront him, but Amon shows up and uses some sort of inner power to stave off the dark figure, allowing you to recover the missing slab piece. You later discuss this with Amon and he tells you he is a Darren, a race of people who are born with magical powers given to them by the Red Moon. He tries not to use this power and keep it from people as much as possible, as the Red Moon was created by Kazaros, the supreme demon. With the now completed slab, you find out that because of the greed of man, more specifically Archbishop Termary, the Guardians split the Ark into 7 pieces, one of each of them to hide away from the world until one day a chosen one will come to reunite them. Beirut believes that the path of the Ark lies to the east and sends you and Amon to go find it. As you make your way east through different regions, you and Amon end up in the ruins of Morai, where you face Thanatos, a giant devil-looking demon. After defeating him, you go to retrieve a magical sword seal, and right as you touch it, the dark figure appears once more. Amon turns into a demonic form and enters into a heated battle with the dark figure. They collide together in an attack. A giant red energy flashes and shakes the room. When you are able to see, both Amon and the dark figure have vanished, leaving you with the sword seal. You later find Amon have the seal, but then says not to listen to him. You can tell that he is battling to maintain control after using his demon power. Together you continue your journey east to the nearby fortress, where you first are introduced to Prince Cillian, the rightful heir to Luteran, who is the target of assassins sent by his uncle, the regent, who claims that Prince Cillian is an imposter. You and Amon set out helping Prince Cillian try to take back Luteran and restore order in the kingdom. In so doing, Cillian's people name him king. Later you discover Cillian's uncle Erhard is working with the dark figure and is in league with the demons. You and Cillian gather men and raise an army in order to take back the castle of Luteran. On the way to the castle, Cillian is attacked by Voltan, the commander of the Legion of Darkness, who recognizes Cillian's blade and marks him as a descendant of Luteran. Almost being defeated by the demons, Cillian unlocks the power of his blade and begins to fight back. Out of nowhere, the dark figure shows up and banishes the demon, saying it is an order from Kazaros himself, then vanishes. You take the walls of the castle and make your way to the throne room. There you find his uncle waiting for you. you. After you defeat him, the Dark Figure shows up and releases Volton, who then names the Dark Figure as Carmine. You fight Volton and halfway through he knocks you down, but King Cillian and Amon defeat him. Right before Volton dies, Carmine absorbs Volton's energy for himself and teleports away. However, it is a somber victory as the capital is littered with dead soldiers from the battle. Cillian gives a speech declaring a new dawn and that the capital will arise once more. Fast forward 2 weeks and the city has been cleaned up and a sense of hope is apparent. Cillian declares you a Knight of Luteran and Amon discovers the Seal of Wisdom hidden in the back of the Luteran throne. You now have the Seal of Power and Seal of Wisdom and go to seek out a fragment of the Ark. On your adventure, you discover an ancient mechanical giant that tells you the eternal circle of the heavenly luminaries will come to pass and the sun's ray will wake up the king. You have no idea what this means, but track down a bard named Allegro who knows the poem. He tells you that the information on where the Luteran ancestors rest is supposed to be passed down through each ruler. However, with King Cillian, the tradition was disrupted and it is his job to share that information with the rightful king. He says King Luteran is buried in the Lastra forest. You head to the forest and find Luteran's tomb. You combine your 2 seals and the gates of the tomb open up. Making your way through the tomb to the resting place of King Luteran, you face a giant fire demon named Jagan. After defeating him, you are greeted by the spirit of King Luteran, who tells you that you are the keeper of the Ark and the only hope for Acrasia. He then bestows upon you the first piece of the Ark. In order to protect the shard, Amon suggests that you store it for safekeeping in Tricyon, a place where demons cannot go, but you do not know how to return there. You begin tracking down how to return to Tricyon and learn that it is a world between the human and demon worlds, and is home to a race of angel creatures named the Lazanus, one of the 3 original races created by the god Regulus. One of the angels stole the Ark in the name of defending Acrasia. Because of this, the Lazanus were punished and all but one of them had their wings removed and were sent to live among men. You are told that Bard Allegro is one of the punished Lazanus who had their wings removed. He teaches you the Song of Tricyon, which allows you to now freely travel to and from Tricyon. You go there and leave the shard with Beatrice for safekeeping. You speak with Cillian, who tells you he hears that the other Ark pieces are scattered across the different continents. He instructs you to head to Eastern Luteran where he has ready to ship for you. However, the road there is a dangerous one. As you disembark, the player sees a meeting between Kazaros and his generals. He instructs each general to go to a different continent and wreak havoc amongst the humans. On the road, you stop at an inn to look for Amon, who you find helping the sick as some sort of madness is infecting the people here. Inside, you meet a traveler named Shandy and his assistant Jinja, who also seems afflicted. You set out to find out what's going on. During this process, you learn from Amon about Archbishop Timur III, leader of the Church of Night in the Second Invasion. Apparently, the Archbishop believed himself to be the true savior of Acrasia, and in an effort to collect and protect all of the pieces of the Ark, he waged war across the world and almost destroyed it. This created a rift between worlds and started the Second Invasion. The Church of Night still exists, and the fanatics you have been encountering on your journey believe that they are doing the will of Regulus. You and Amon decide you need to find out what's going on in the area. You disguise yourself and sneak into the Church of Night. Inside the church, you discover that the new priest has declared himself the incarnation of Termur and summoned a demon. You head to the catacombs beneath the church and confront the high priest, who turns out to be Kusatat, the Lord of Chaos, one of Kazaros' generals. Amon and Shandy arrive, and Shandy fights Kusatat, who eventually teleports away. You follow his trail and find out he is planning an attack of Boer Morhen. You head back to Cillian and tell him of Kusatat's plan. He says he will send his armies to defend Boer Morhen. However, it will take 3 days and they will need to hold out until then. You head back to Boer Morhen and successfully defend it from a demon army. After the battle, you hear word of Amon fighting Kusatat out on the plains and you need to help. You defend Amon and defeat Kusatat. However, as you are about to strike the final blow, he flees. The player then sees that Kusatat meets up with Carmine and requests that he opens a portal back to the demon world. Carmine instead absorbs Kusatat, taking his essence and power for his own. After the battle, a large group of armed priests show up to Boer Morhen, claiming that they heard the former regent Erhard condone these demons and accepts the Church of Night, and that the new King Cillian is unable to root out this evil. The leader of these priests, Solus, interrogates the civilians and leads a group of them to the Windfall Cliff. At the top of the cliff, Solus and his soldiers attack the civilians, who believe that their souls have been corrupted and he is doing the will of Regulus. Amon tries to save them but is unsuccessful and everyone dies. Stricken by grief, Amon unleashes his inner demon and kills Solus and all of his men. You and Cillian arrive and confront Amon, however he is fully engulfed by his demon side. Out of nowhere, Carmine appears and Amon goes with him return to the demon world. Cillian, upset by the loss of Amon, sends you away to continue your search for the Ark. This leads you to the island of Tortoik, where you find a group of fairy people called the Mokoko. On the island, you help the elders of the Mokoko people fight back the demon that are plaguing their lands. During this process, you discover that the island is actually the body of a sleeping giant. With some recently obtained seals, you head into the mouth of the giant and go to the heart of Tortoik. Inside the giant's heart, you prove your strength by defeating a guardian, and you are awarded with the second fragment. You then head back to Tricion to give it to Beatrice for safekeeping. With 2 fragments so far, you set out to the continent of Vanique. Here you enter a martial arts tournament to find out more information about the Ark. The final contestant of the tournament turns out to be working with Bellicus, another one of Kazaros's generals. You defeat them and receive a note that was left by Cien, one of the 7 guardians. The note tells you that the fragment is hidden on another continent. You set sail and arrive in Arthitine. When you get there, the entire town is abuzz as they are opening a giant monorail. The citizens here are upset about the monorail because they are losing their jobs as more and more things become automated and riots and attacks start to take place. You decide to meet with the city's leaders, administrators Bastian and Sasha, who ask you to investigate a person named Kane, who is the head of a program that created a drug which increased intelligence. However, when he tried to up the dose, strong side effects such as aggression took place. The drug was released in a weaker form and the program was defunded. In your investigation, you learn that Kane is gathering an army and believes he can improve the human race on a molecular level and that everyone can be a genius. You track down Kane to a secret research facility and at the top of it, see he is trying to harness the power of the Genesis Sun. You defeat him and are rewarded with the 3rd Ark fragment, which you once again return to Tricion to give to Beatrice. Setting sail once more, this time to the continent of Bern. When you arrive, the harbor and town are overrun by a fire and the undead. You destroy the undead and make your way to the center of the harbor, where you encounter another one of generals of Kazaros, Morgred. Morgred summons a giant dragon to fight you, and as you are about to be killed, a white knight named Lancel jumps in and protects you. Lancel tells you that Morgred is a very powerful necromancer. You head to the castle of Bern to meet with the queen and tell her that she needs to send her forces to combat Morgred. However, she will not assist you unless you have proof of Morgred's return. You and Lancel follow Morgred's path through the fortress of Elberia. During this time, you learn that Lancel died over 100 years ago in his fight against Morgred, but with Morgred's return was brought back. At the top of the fortress, you fight and defeat Morgred. You head back to the queen and tell her what happened, and she asks if there is anything she can do in return. You tell her you are seeking the Ark. She informs you that it is not on Bern, but that you should check on the continent of Shushire. When you arrive at the frozen continent of Shushire, you realize that their economy mainly runs on slavery, and that gangs will randomly kidnap people and sell them to slave traders. However, there is a group of rebels known as the Unbroken who are fighting back against this system. They ask you to find one of their men who was kidnapped named Gable. You head to the slave market and successfully save Gable and many others. You then join forces with Nax, the leader of the Unbroken, and attempt to overthrow Barden, the head slave master and leader of Shushire. You track down and kill Barden and learn that the missing Ark piece is in the Labyrinth of Mirrors. You head there and find that Ilya Khan, one of Kazaros's generals, is trying to take the fragment. You defeat him and obtain the Ark piece and once more head back to give it to Beatrice for safekeeping. Next, you set sail for the western continent of Rohendel, a land of magic and elf-like creatures. The city is comprised of 4 towers, each dedicated to a different school of magic: wind, water, earth, and fire. However, most citizens here view fire as an agent of chaos, for only having the ability to destroy, while the other 3 elements are able to create. You meet with the queen and she tells you her realm is in distress and she sends you on a mission to investigate. You discover that demons are running rampant and the land is slowly dying, but many are in denial as the demons are using some sort of illusionary magic to prevent people from noticing the decay. During your investigation, you find out that Gurdon, the leader of the fire magic school, bewitched by Kazaros's general Avroslood, has been assaulting the different elemental guardians, throwing the whole land into chaos. You save the elements and help Gurdon break free of Avroslood's enchantment. After this, you head to the Abode of Dreams where you find Avroslood to be residing. You face her here, but being a master of illusionary magic, you are unable to defeat her. Thankfully though, the queen shows up and calls upon the Tree of Life to imbue you with the power to defend the Ark. With this power, you are able to defeat Avroslood, but she manages to escape through a portal back to the demon world. After the fight, you approach the Tree of Life and it bestows upon you the 5th Ark fragment, which you then, yep, you guessed it, head back to Tricion to give to Beatrice. Next, you head to the continent of Yorn, where you arrive to find that there is a bloodthirsty hunchback with a huge sword who is killing people and absorbing their souls. You head to the dwarven city of Eisendelf to investigate. There you meet Shandy and his old friend Vahanter, a drunken dwarf with a legendary hammer, and learn that there was recently a huge earthquake that destroyed a lot of their equipment that runs the great forge known as the Light of Arctus. You help the dwarves attempt to repair the forge. This leads you down to a place known as the Tank, which is the underground water reservoir reservoir for the city where you find the Hunchback. It turns out that the Hunchback is a demon who is feeding the sword, trying to make it more powerful. You defeat the Hunchback, but the sword is picked up and taken away by another winged demon. You later learn that the sword was forged by two brothers of the guardian Calator. Envious of their brother's power and fame, the two dwarves snuck into the primordial realm and stole a shard of power. However, this shard turned out to be the soul of a once fallen demon named Belcruz. Thankfully, they never completed the sword because Calator stopped them, but now a demon is attempting to finish the tempering process at the Crucible of Souls. In order to stop Belcruz, you and Vahanter set off to the primordial lands where you speak with the spirits of the two brothers who forged the sword. They say they will atone for their sins and help you, but you first must help them by going to the guardian Calator's resting place to restore their power. You do this and you all head to the Crucible of Souls. There you find that the demon has already finished hardening Belcruz. You fight him, but as you are about to win, Belcruz absorbs the demon's soul and takes over his body, and you have to fight Belcruz once more. You defeat him with the help of Vahanter, who shatters the sword. As you leave and head back to Eisendelf, the player sees Carmine walk into the Crucible of Souls and reach out to the shattered pieces of Belcruz. His power puts him back together and he tells Belcruz to serve him. The sword appears completed in his hand and Carmine walks away with it. After all of this, you hear that the sixth fragment is hidden on another continent. You set sail once more and head to the continent of Peyton, where you arrive and start asking questions about the Ark, and are quickly met with negative responses. The citizens here are extremely reluctant to speak with any outsiders, as you discover that it will draw the attention of the Avesta, a group of Darren, humans with demonic powers like Amon that rule everything here. Eventually, you meet with a Shakria priest that gives you a permit to go beyond the cordon around the harbor. Past the cordon, you find a man named Violet that is trapped in a web and rescue him from a giant demon spider. Before separating, you learn that he is a Darren, and the job of all Darren beyond the cordon is to defeat demons and collect and destroy the chaos shards that they drop. As you continue your way through the swamp past the cordon, you get jumped and poisoned by a group of Avesta. When you wake up, you are before the leader, Grandmaster Seika, who asks what you are doing on Peyton. You tell him you are searching for the Ark. He says that it is interesting and allows you to leave. You exit the temple and find yourself in Calazar, the main city of Peyton. You ask around about the Ark and find out that Avesta's goal is to close the Demon's Rift, and that Grandmaster Seika probably knows about the Ark. In order to get information from Seika, you prove yourself by defeating a pit lord and joining the Avesta. During this time, you speak with Seika and he teaches you that the Avesta are a misunderstood people, that they live in the dark to serve the light and kill only when there is no other way. Later, Seika hears word that a group of priests have kidnapped several Darren children and taken them to their monastery. Together, you track them down, infiltrate the monastery, and confront their leader, Justicar Federico. Here, Grandmaster Seika steps forward and says he does not want bloodshed, but only the safe release of the children. Against all of the Avesta's protest, he makes a deal with the Justicar to release the children in exchange for his imprisonment. The Justicar agrees, and Seika orders the Avesta return to Calazar. In Calazar, you and Avesta plot to break into the Black Rain Fortress, where they are keeping Grandmaster Seika. You fight your way through the fortress and save Seika. In this process, a turned Darren tells you that the Avesta are full of lies, and that Grandmaster Seika is actually a demon. Seika admits to this and solemnly says he has done what he teaches the Darren not to do: absorb the chaos shards and succumb to their demon side. He tells you that he learned to control it and decided to use his powers to stop the approach of darkness. He informs you that he has plans to head to the wasteland under the Red Moon to stop all of this, and tells you to return and let the priest know of the impending demon attack. You go and meet with the Justicar and explain that the demons are coming, but the Justicar says he will not fight with the Darren and that he will withdraw his troops from the lands. He will fight the demons on his own time and terms. This is a Darren problem from now. Together, the entire Avesta army united and under the leadership of Grandmaster Seika, you head to the plain of Black Rain in the wasteland below the Red Moon. When you arrive, the skies start pouring black rain and rifts to the demon world open up and spew out endless amounts of demons. Here you make your stand. You start your fight with the demons but can quickly tell you are being overrun. When all hope seems lost, the Justicar and his priests show up and join the fight. With their help, you are able to push back the demon hordes, but eventually the skies crackle with energy and rips apart. Out floats Thaman Kazaros's most powerful general. With an outstretched hand, he sends magic to find something. It starts to envelop everyone and their bodies evaporate. Grandmaster Seika steps in and absorbs the power, but at what cost? Kazaros says this is not what he was looking for, and he steps back through the portal to the demon world. Grandmaster Seika is left on all fours, seething with his power. He says that in order to save these lands from darkness, he had become what he was always fought against, and that you need to kill him. With a heavy heart, you fight and defeat him, freeing his spirit and allowing him to die a man and not a demon. Back in the city, you and all the Darren have a funeral in honor of the Grand Maester and those who have fallen. After the funeral, you speak with the new Avesta leader and he hands you a letter that Grandmaster Seika gave to him before he died. The letter tells you where to go to find the last fragment. You head to the pit where Seika hid the fragment and retrieve it, then once again return to Beatrice and give her the fragment. You set sail once more for for another fragment, and your boat gets caught in a storm and capsizes. You wash ashore on the island of Papunica. You find that the citizens here are preparing for the Lelai Festival, which is the biggest celebration of the year in Papunica. All of a sudden, you hear a loud crash and go to check it out. You find a ship washed up on shore, and on it is a girl named Nia, who is being attacked by a demon. The demon turns out to be a weakened form of Kusatat that has managed to escape Carmine's grasp. You discover that Nia is the elder of the village, but most of the town view her as a stupid child because she does not know the Song of Peace, which is a magical song that protects the island and its inhabitants. While she knows the words of the song by heart, she does not yet possess the ability for the song's magical powers to take place. Just like in Bora Morhen, the local creatures are starting to go mad. You once again believe it is caused by the appearance of Kusatat. You hear word of his location at the Circle of Names and set off to find him. There, Kusatat captures your new ally Shauna and threatens to kill her unless Nia gives up the location of some magical seeds, which are the source of the island's power and life. Left with no other choice, Nia tells Kusatat that they are hidden behind a waterfall. He releases Shauna and you follow his trail to the heart of Araya. At the heart of Araya, you see Kusatat absorbing the seed's power for himself. However, as he begins regaining his strength, he wakes the sleeping dragon from its slumber, Guardian Albion. The dragon attacks Kusatat, but ultimately is mind controlled by the demon and begins destroying the village of Papunica. Nia confronts the dragon and sings the Song of Peace. This time, she is successful in channeling her power through the song and is able to cleanse Albion's mind, saving the village. With the town saved, the Lelai celebration takes place. Next, you arrive back at the city of Bern and find that the royal council here has started a new order in South Bern called the Black Knights and is planning to usurp the queen's power. You speak with the queen about this and she asks you to go find one of her knights, Adele, who she had sent on a secret mission to South Bern but has not had communication with lately. You team up with a guy named Zirion who is going to show you a secret path to South Bern as the roads are blocked by Black Knights and crawling with Necromancer. There you start your search for Adele. While in South Bern, you discover that the Black Knights are kidnapping people and trying to bring down the magical barrier protecting Bern. You track the Black Knights to one of the royal council members' estates. Here you find Adele with the help of your old friend Lancel and are able to escape from the Black Knights. You learn that the council is planning some sort of ritual in Rilbar, the first Sylvan city in Bern, and Lancel says that you need to stop them. You fight your way through the citadel but arrive too late. The council completes the ritual and breaks the magical barrier protecting Bern. With the barrier down, 4 of Kazaros' generals along with Carmine arrive and kill the royal council members. You attempt to flee the ruins, however you are trapped between Iliakan and Bellicus with no way out. Sacrificing himself, Zirion uses his magic to teleport you all to safety and in turn dies at the hand of Bellicus. With the assistance of all of the leaders from the different continents you have helped on your journey so far, you assemble an army and prepare for your final attack on the demons. The Queen of Bern gives a speech and then the battle commences. You fight your way through the hordes of demons and breach the stronghold. During the battle, the skies crackle and a rift to the demon world opens up. Out of the sky descends the Tower of Chaos, a structure connecting the human and demon worlds together. With the help of your allies, you push your way to the top of the tower in pursuit of closing the rift. Here, you and your allies stand before the 4 generals. Averslud steps forward and casts a spell, opening up rifts to the demon world all across Arkesia. The battle ends here and you arrive back at Bern. You speak with the leaders and they decide to unite and create one large army to fight back the demons and close the rifts, just like what happened in the second invasion. Shandy says your only hope is the Ark, so you go and speak with Beatrice, who tells you that the last piece of the Ark is at the ends of the earth and it will soon reveal itself and fulfill its purpose. However, this is where the story ends now. You are tasked with defeating the generals who have come to Arkesia in the raids that are released throughout different patches. The developers have announced that only about 10 to 15% of the overall story has been released so far. If you liked the video, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up and let me know in the comments down below what you thought about the story. Did you love it, hate it, or just didn't care? I'd love to hear your thoughts down below regardless. If you made it this far, I just want to say I appreciate you and I hope that you found the video helpful or at least entertaining. Thank you all so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.